Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. And we are so excited today. We are talking about the latest legacy sequel that we're getting from Disney. We're talking about Freakier Friday. And we have not swapped places, but we are excited to be here. I am film critic Rachel Wagner, and Marisa Serafini is here.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Hallmarkies. Hello, Rachel. Yeah, we didn't swap places, but I still feel like we swapped ages because when I
Yeah.
first watched this, I was a teenager, the first
Yeah.
one, and now I'm an adult. I was like, oh, yeah, I get it. I get the references.
Was
Yep,
it a blast from the past?
a bit. Yeah, in a
Yeah.
good way, because I'll just straight up from the top, like I am a millennial, so this is
Yeah.
definitely catered to my generation and to
Yeah.
me and to my peeps. So, yeah.
Well, if people might not be aware, we had so much fun during the pandemic. We covered a bunch of franchises. We did Parent Trap, and people might not realize how many Parent Trap movies there are, but
Yeah.
there's five in just the main series. And we
Mhm.
covered Father of the Bride. We covered, and then we covered Freaky Friday,
Yes, we
and that
did.
was
We
really
covered a
fun.
lot of movies. I think it's like, is it because we love movies or we were that bored during the pandemic?
Both. Check, check.
Both. Yeah,
And we just like talking
or
with each other. So
we
you ought
do.
to listen to those episodes. They're a lot of fun. And I think a lot of people don't realize, particularly the 1995 one. I think that's the one that's kind of lost.
That's the Shelley Long run, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The and at the time at our 1995, at the time I actually ranked that number one in 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 our episode in our rankings. So
Wow,
I
I don't
haven't had a
even
chance to
remember.
revisit it, but I remember really, I think part of it was that it was the one I hadn't seen. So it's the
Okay.
most like fresh and most, kind of fun. But it was a fun episode. And I think a lot of people missed the musical. That was the DCOM from 2018. And it's actually not half bad, the DCOM.
No, I don't remember hating it,
Yeah.
but I remember to be nice. But
Yeah.
also I think it was one of those movies, it was still so kind of brand new that
Yeah.
like it got lost on everybody. Like if you
Yeah.
weren't watching Disney at the time, you would know nothing about. I didn't even know about it until you
Yeah.
told me.
Well, that's
So,
true because I think we did the episode in 2021. So it had only
yeah.
been a bit, it came out in 2018 and it was on, Disney Channel. And so it's just one of those things. But I had the chance to see the musical at a local high school. It was actually Bluffdale Arts Council. They did it. And it was fun because I saw it on the Monday and then the day after I saw this Freakier Friday. So it was fun to see both. And I still have some issues with the musical. I don't think it's perfect. It's one of those ones that I almost admire more for what it tried to do than I think it totally nailed it. But I appreciate the attempt. Um, I still feel like there's a song in there called "Parents Lie," and and Ellie, the girl in that one, she's as the mom, she sings the song to her brother, and her brother's like really little. Like it'd be one thing if her brother was like 2 years younger, or something like
Mhm.
that. Her brother's like really little, like he has a puppet that he's talking through and stuff like that. Very little, and she sings the song "Parents Lie," and her point is to say like my parents told me that my dad would be okay and it was a lie and he died. So that's like the point to say they lie. But the problem with the song is that it goes too far and it says that parents lie with hugs. It's like that's too far.
Uh,
They don't lie with hugs. Like the
right.
hug, the
They
love
soothe
isn't a
with
lie. They might
hugs.
lie with words, but they're not
Right.
lying with hugs. And
With
so that's why it,
actions.
it, it
Yeah.
makes the song, in my opinion, it makes the song feel mean. Like, why would she do this to her little brother? And then he runs away. And of course he runs away. His mother has just told him, in his eyes, his mom has just told him this horrible thing, like her
Right.
hugs are a lie. Like,
That's emotional abuse.
yeah, yeah.
Let's
And
say
I,
it.
I don't think that Ellie would do that. I think that
Yeah.
She might say they lied when they said that dad was going to be okay. That was a lie. But
Mm.
I don't think she would say they lie with hugs. So anyway, the longer short of it is I feel like the movie really I mean the musical and the musical movie really try to do interesting things, and I appreciate the fact that it's one of the only Disney theatrical musicals that is original and not a reworking of one of their film musicals, right? Like I wish
Hmm.
that Disney would do more, take a live action film of theirs and make it into a musical for Broadway, you know, as opposed to what they usually do is take a musical film and turn it into a Broadway musical, which usually
Yeah.
those are not good. There's been a couple, but most of them suck. And so I, I appreciate it. But anyway, it was a really fun production at the high school. They both the mom and the daughter were really great. The choreography, it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it, even with its flaws. And if you get a chance to see Freaky Friday, the musical, I would definitely recommend checking it out. And I think in any iteration, we'll get to this new film, but in any iteration of Freaky Friday, I think that it has the potential to be a really great like teaching moment for mothers and daughters, especially. Like,
Absolutely.
because at its core, the story is about walking in each other's shoes, and we think that we know how the other person is feeling, but maybe we don't. And so I think that again, even if any of these movies have their flaws or the musical that on Broadway, that even if they have their flaws, they can provide that core moment, and I think that that has value, and I think it just inherently gives these movies some heart,
Yeah.
and some it just leads to natural humor
Yeah, it
because
was like
we're in
you
different
add the
bodies.
humanity, you add the humanity aspect to it, which I
Yeah,
felt like a parent to teenagers understand because yes, parents used to be teenagers at that moment,
yeah,
but generational changes, high schoal changes, all that is just like no one really truly knows each other until you actually talk to each other
yeah,
or really walk a mile in each other's shoes.
yeah,
And I think that definitely is the learning message that I feel like all the movies have very
yeah,
consistently across the board. And
yeah,
I felt like it definitely in this newest
in the new
one.
one, yeah,
So like I'm glad that's a running theme
yeah,
through all of them
because
because
even
that
just like
universal story
yeah,
still applies.
because even just like a
Ye-
little
Yeah.
thing, like I remember thinking about the other day that it occurred to me that like teens today, they have to deal with their picture possibly being taken at all moments of all of the time.
Oh my goodness.
Like, can you imagine?
No.
I don't know why it just hit me that, oh my gosh, like any moment of any day. And I mean, I think about my best friend from high school. She one day she walked up through the senior hallway with her skirt tucked into her backpack. So she was like mooning all the seniors. And you just like at the time that was a little embarrassing. She got,
Right.
red faced and it was embarrassing, but like you just moved on forever.
Yeah, that's awful. Like,
Imagine.
fortunately, when I was, and I'm dating myself. Fortunately, when I was in high school, it was still before cell phones were really, really a
Yeah.
thing. Like, no one had cell phone. Like, the first iPhone didn't come out until I was a senior. So like, fortunately, like that
Yeah.
whole capturing every moment on camera wasn't there. And honestly, it's so funny we bring this up. It's like my old friend that I went to high school with. I talked to him just recently. He sent me a picture of us together from that year high school yearbook book. I look so awkward. Like I'm so glad my teenage years weren't,
Cataloged
like
for
on
everyone.
camera or like, oh my
Ah,
God, because that is forever. I was like, it's so awkward. It's such a different
yeah.
person than who I am today. And like I like to think I have
Yeah.
had a glow up. But oh my God, like I can't imagine having all your painful, because that's when you're still trying to learn who you are and discovering who you are, what you like, what your tastes are, what your style is,
Yeah.
you know, and then to like constantly be reminded that's who you used to be, and like
Yeah.
if that's only what people knew you of, that's like what's forever in your head, and like
Yeah.
fast forward 20 years, 20 plus years to who you are now, that's totally different. So like I'm glad my teenage years weren't documented in that
Yeah.
to the extent that it is now.
And I'm just amazed my nieces and other young women that I know, how like grounded, and I feel like in some ways that I think that older millennials kind of around my age and younger, because I'm the last year of millennial, and then
Of
81 is the last
course.
year. And so
Okay.
I think like, I think sometimes we actually have the
Like
hardest
millennials
time.
start at 86.
I thought it was 81
Yeah,
millennials.
millennials start at 86 to 99.
I thought for sure it was 81. But anyway, I feel like I
You're
feel
zillennial, zillennial.
okay, but I feel like a lot of times the kids of the 80s, so that period, I feel like sometimes we have the hardest time in navigating social media because we're the ones that had it kind of thrust upon us as like
Hmm.
either high school or college students. And whereas my nieces, I'm so amazed at how like grounded and mature they are, because it's something that they have always just had a part of their life. Like they were just taught how to deal with it from the time that they were little, you know? And so it is amazing how the human brain and just how we adapt, you
Right.
know?
I find maybe this could be like a millennial, zillennial, whatever kind of therapy session for us, because I've noticed like how different the technology affects communication between generations. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
the younger
Well,
people
that's
can
true.
click, 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 click all day and know how to navigate the internet, but they don't know how to navigate a serious storyline or a serious topic with a person, human to human. So I think like they've evolved in different ways than they have humans
Yeah.
in the humanistic
But I
way.
really
And I
I
think that's why the movie's
yeah.
good, because it
Yeah.
forces people to talk to each other. I say
Yeah.
it time and time again on so many episodes, maybe not your shows, but definitely my
Yeah.
shows. Like if people just sit down
Yeah.
and talk to each other, the world would be a much better place. We'd be way more understanding. There'd be less wars. There'd be just like it'd be a better
Yeah.
place to live if we all
Yeah.
understood each other.
I think that's why it really does ring true, whether it's in the 70s, whether it's in the 90s, whatever, like this idea of swapping bodies and walking in each other's shoes. It just, it's not only funny, but it's just inherently, it rings true, and it feels there's the heart there, because that we just understand the need for that of like walking in each other's shoes.
Right.
That
And I
it's a
think
very good
humans,
concept.
right. I think humans understand, despite like what other people's lives are going through, we still understand sadness, happiness, what makes us
Yeah.
happy, you know, and all that. So like even if the situations are different, we can still empathize, hopefully. If
Yeah.
someone's going through a tough time, as on the human level, we understand why, or have just a
Yeah.
little bit more compassion towards certain situations.
Ho, ho, ho! We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcasts, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/Hallmarkies.
Freakier Friday this, of course, stars Jamie Lee Curtis, Lindsay Lohan, but it stars Julia Butters playing Lindsay's daughter, which was so interesting to see her because she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know if you saw that. She had a very
No.
memorable scene with Leonardo DiCaprio. She was a child actress, and now she's a teenager. But I didn't recognize her at first. I'm like, oh my gosh. And she was also in the show American Housewife, which I loved. And I thought that was such an underrated little show. But as the daughter in that show. So it's kind of fun to see her in this more grown-up role than I'd seen her before. It's like, oh wow. And this was directed by Nisha Ganatra and written by Jordan Weiss and Elise Hollander, and then they have Mary Rogers, who wrote the original book for Freaky Friday. And what was your expectations going into this? Were you excited? Were you nervous? How did you feel?
Generally I was excited because I admit Freaky Friday, like me and my girlfriends from college, we have our movie nights every year. It's like just something that we've done since our 20s. And
Yeah.
Freaky Friday is one of those movies in our regular rotation. So we watch Freaky Friday a lot. And so just naturally I was excited that, oh my God, they're all coming back. With Jamie and Lindsay. I grew up with Lindsay Lohan. Parent Trap is my favorite movie of all time. I said it's time and time again. And then, Liz McGuire, like that generation, that's my peeps. And so to have this movie come back, excited, nostalgic, didn't know anything about the new teenagers and that like the next generation. But it's nice to see Lindsay in the grown-up role because I've only really known her as a child, as a teenager. And if you actually followed her personal life in her late teenage, her 20s, we know she had a crazy life. But I'm glad that, she cleaned herself up. Her image got clean. She took some time off and she came back and she's a new person. And that's what I enjoyed, that like having a healthy Lindsay come back and playing a role, and coming back to a role that we all know and loved, and to not only add to it, to enhance it.
Yeah, I was nervous, not because of Freaky Friday or because of any of the people involved. I was nervous because it originally was a Disney Plus property that then they were going to release in theaters. And they had done 2 sequels previous to this that I thought were very weak, that felt to me similar. For Disney Plus, the Hocus Pocus 2 and the Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted, I thought both of those were very weak. And I mean, I'm not even that big a fan of the original Hocus Pocus, but that sequel was not good, in my opinion. And I was like, oh no, it's going to be like
I believe
that.
you talked about that.
That would be that would be very, very concerning. So I was nervous about it, but I, was of course hopeful, as I always am. And I went inside to see it, and I thought it was entertaining. I enjoyed it. I thought it was basically, I don't know how much more they could have done to have made, like, I always look at something like, what were they asked to do, and did they do a good job? Like, they weren't asked to make an Oscar winner here. They were asked to make a Freaky Friday sequel. And I think for the tasks that they were assigned, not that that's an excuse. If it was bad, it was bad. But I just think for what they were asked to do, I think they did a good job. It was funny. It was sweet. It worked for me. It had enough nostalgia, but it didn't lean on that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely worked for me. Admittedly, I didn't expect this movie to be as funny as it was in the dialogue sense. For me personally, I laughed a lot out loud. And it takes a lot to get
I
me
did
to
too.
laugh. And I haven't laughed that hard at a movie in a very long time, which is neat. Like what I needed, I had a genuine knee slap at one point. I'm like, oh my God, this is, and like
was it a lot with Jake? Was it a lot with Jake?
It was
that was funny to me.
Yeah, it was the Manapo moment, the Filipino greeting of respect. And of course, I was the only one who laughed at it because like no one else knew that reference and like that cultural reference. I was like, oh my God. But there were moments I had to stifle my laugh because I was laughing so hard. So I think it really did a good job in delivery of dialogue and comedy.
Yeah, I thought pretty much everything in that record store was really quite funny,
Oh yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
And I think that one of the nice things that Lindsay has been doing in her Netflix movies and in this is I feel like she's doing a good job of leaning into like screwball energy, to the antics that uh like I could picture in her last couple movies, and then in this, I could picture someone like a Doris Day being in this kind of
Mhm.
movie, like a little bit silly, a little bit, slapstick, a little fun. And I like that. I miss it. We don't get that often in at the theaters anymore.
No, because even when she was in teenager roles, they were still fairly serious teenagers.
Yeah,
She was always like the straight A, straight shooter teenager, like headstrong, always kind of
it's
like
true.
together.
Yeah.
Way put together to the point where not like the over top, like I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. So it's nice to see like the awkward side of,
Yeah.
or the awkward, quirky side that I think we kind of missed out on when she was
Yeah.
an actual teenager.
Yeah. And we just don't get that many, I feel like, family comedies, live action. Like we get like Despicable Me and movies like that, but live action. I mean, I guess we have something like Minecraft or something like that, but I don't know. I just feel like we don't get movies like this anymore. Like we used to get so many live action Disney or Disney like
Mhm.
comedies, and we just don't get those that often. And I love those.
Yeah.
They're so fun. And so that was nice to see. The actual plot, little summary, is 22 years after Tess and Anna endured an identity crisis. Anna now has a daughter and a soon to be stepdaughter. As they navigate the challenges that come when two families merge, Tess and Anna discover that lightning might strike twice. So, how did you feel about the decision to make it a four-way swap? What do you think?
Um, I was okay with that because I mean, if you have Jamie Lee Curtis, you're gonna have to have her swap with someone, especially if it's also if you have two teenage girls. So like I was totally okay with like the even aspect.
Yeah.
My problem was there were some points I had to like it took me out of the movie. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, who's in whose body?
Yeah. I
Who
agree.
like and
Well,
I had oh yeah.
also they didn't have the four of them together very much.
Right.
It was the two girls on one side, and then so that made it even harder to remember of like, oh no, this is actually Harper, it's not Lindsay, and this is Lily and
Right.
not Jamie. And keeping that straight made it harder. And I just think they missed out on some of like the humor that they had, because I think that they wanted to have Jamie and Lindsay together a lot for the marketing, for their chemistry and everything like that. But I think it would have, as far as the swap, would have worked better if they had actually, if like some of the time her and Harper were together, and some of the times her and Tess were together, some of the times she was with Lily, and they were swapping all over and getting to spend time with each other,
Yeah.
and I don't know if they had, and then maybe even if you're gonna have four people, I think it might have been fun if, let's say, they'd had the fortune cookie lady, they in the middle of the movie, the fortune cookie lady maybe gives them additional fortune, and they swap again,
Swap
so that
again.
right, and so then you would have Lily in Lindsay, and you would have, like, so you'd swap again so that they each get a chance to be with each other, and they'd all
Yeah.
get a chance to understand each other. But that's not what they decided to do.
I'm
It
kind of
wasn't,
glad because I think that would get
that
also
could
way
get,
too
it could
confusing.
get really confusing.
That's a lot of combinations and
But
iterations to remember.
yeah, and you'd have to have the four of them actually together. That is more what I kind of wish, that they had like been together more.
Right. I think my thing is like I mean, we all love Jamie Lee Curtis. She's amazing, fantastic. My
Hmm.
problem I had was with when Lily was in Jamie. We're supposed to get this really posh, stuck up kind of teenager in Jamie, and like I personally haven't really been exposed to this actress, Sophia
Yeah,
Hemmings. So I don't
right.
know her acting style. I don't know her mannerisms.
Yeah,
So
that's
just
true.
watching Jamie, I saw Jamie act as a teenager, not a teenager in a Jamie's body. You know, so it was Jamie's
Well, I see what
quirks.
you're saying. Yeah, I can see that. And her being like such a mean girl, Lily being such a mean girl, it made her transformation a little bit harder, I think, on everybody. Like, I think maybe we needed like a little bit more humanity for her at the beginning to not be so mean, especially to Harper. That so that was an interesting choice that they made, but there was still like enough humor, and almost enjoyed more. It's like what they could have done is if they were going to have them switch midway, then you could have Lindsay and you could have Lindsay and Jamie switch midway through, and that would bring it back to the original movie. That, oh no, we're back in each other's bodies just like the original movie, right? And Harper and Lily would be switched, and so then they would have to come to understand each other and know each other, right? So it wouldn't be old people with young people. It would be people,
the two young people.
Yeah, that could be good.
That's what I originally actually thought it was going to
Yeah,
be.
that could have been good.
Harper and Lily were the ones switching.
Yeah, because they did lean hard into the old people jokes, and I was fine with it. They were funny. They were pretty funny to me, but like I don't think that that Jamie Lee Curtis is in any danger that I'm aware of needing adult diapers. You know, I mean, she may be in her 70s, but they were acting like she was ready to get put in a home, you know?
Right. But like that whole scene in Walgreens when they're buying all those products, I was like, that's hysterical and enema.
It was funny.
like, oh my goodness.
And speaking of Hocus Pocus 2, what is it that Disney has some kind of deal with Walgreens? Because that movie also had a long scene in Walgreens.
Was that a Walgreens or I thought that was a Rite Aid? I thought it was a Rite Aid. I don't know. It could be, but no, I totally. It's one of those pharmacy stores. But I think just like that. But
this was funnier than that.
The age, yeah, definitely. That leading into the age of like all these products like Fixident and like she's too old or like those are like too old of products for what we need and like totally. And it just really, really shows how ignorant teenagers are and like how old people think we really are when we're not. So honestly, I laughed at all the
funny
age jokes. I didn't think I got tired.
Yeah, but it could have been an interesting way for them to go to swap the girls at one point or another. But you do feel kind of bad by the end because Lily, she kind of is the one that ends up having to make all the sacrifices. She's the one that's not going to be able to go back to London. She's the one that's going to have to be in this school. She's the one that, that like for being the mean girl, she is the one in the end that kind of doesn't really, she's the one that's going to have this new stepmom. She's a stepsister, all the stuff. Like she basically gets nothing.
Maybe this says how much I was and how much girls were mean to me growing up. I was like, is it bad that I didn't care? Mostly because I felt more for the father. For the father, and he felt bad for the daughter because like she was an awful teenager. And then when I was like, why am I supposed to feel for you? Yeah, it sucks your mom died, but like you're also just like a terrible human being. So like you actually need to be knocked down a few pegs and stay where you are to humble yourself, girl. So maybe
she was angry. No, I mean, she was angry about having to make all these changes, which she then did have to make. So like, but it
made her nicer. So like kind of maybe the result actually worked.
Well, I think that she realized that her dad really did love Lindsay, Anna.
Yeah.
And so it was worth it. But I do think her coming to understand Harper more might have helped her character a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, she has that line where she says, I didn't realize how completely selfish I was being. So she does have a pretty dynamic character arc for a character like this. And I think that if we'd in those opening sequences, we'd gotten like a little moment of warmth from her, just like a little bit,
Yeah.
then maybe that would have helped us feel more sort of we're rooting for the character a little more. But still, it was funny enough and enjoyable enough. It was fine.
Welcome to the Pilot Podcast. My name is BJ.
And my name is Me Too, and we promise this promo is worth it, so please don't skip ahead.
We're two judgy friends who put our judgmental skills to work for you. We review the pilot episodes of new and popular shows and shows that our listeners request to answer your question, should I watch this?
Look, a lot of us are spending a lot more time at home, and yes, we should be reading and trying new projects and enriching ourselves, but does anything beat binging a great show?
Let us take the guesswork out of deciding what your next show will be. Tune in to The Pilot Podcast at thepilotpodcast.com.
I do think it was a little bit strange how they handled Jake. I thought that Jake was hilarious, but were you maybe expecting that the big reveal was going to be that Jake is actually Harper's father?
I felt like they were going to that.
It's the natural conclusion. This is that she decides to be a single mom.
Yeah.
He's her big past love. She's literally written this whole song about him, and she says it was about him. And so I was fully expecting like that big reveal, and then it just never happened. I thought that was really odd.
And like it's not a coincidence that the daughter had like strawberry blonde hair like Jake. Like all the physicalities of the thing is, it's like it's cool to see Chad Michael Murray back. We love him. He was in the original one, like also heartthrob for the millennials. I felt like he was in it too much. To the point where I was like, I don't feel like he was adding anything anymore.
I just felt like, okay, this even more reason why I thought that, oh, this is going to be the big reveal that he's Harper's dad. And surprise, or something. But then it just kind of went nowhere. I thought it was so strange. It's like, oh, we just used you for your car.
Right. Well, and that's why I'm saying, I was like, he was in it too much. I was like, if he's not going to be there for the storyline of being revealing of a father, then why are you even there?
That's what made sense. It was so weird.
Yeah, like have him in for a scene for the record store, but like that's it.
Yeah.
Like make it a 5-minute cameo, not every 5 minutes,
I thought that he was quite funny, and I'm glad to see him leaning into humor, not taking himself so seriously. He had a run there with Hallmark movies where I really felt he was phoning it in. Like I was just not feeling the charisma. It just was not working for me. And then last year he did I forget what it was called, but he did the Christmas Magic Mike movie. It was like about the Gentleman's Review. It wasn't like an amazing movie, but it was fun. And he did like a whole calendar for it. It was really, it looked like he was having fun.
The Merry Gentleman.
Yes. It looked like he was having fun in a way I hadn't seen in a while from him. And I felt this way here as well. He had a big smile, and it was nice to see that. Like I felt charisma and personality from him that I haven't felt in a while as a Hallmark fan.
Yeah. And that was a Netflix movie. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Netflix, but just those two compared to what he had been doing for Hallmark, I thought was a lot better.
Right. I mean, it's good to see him acting. It's good to have his character back, and that like there wasn't any like terrible emotional beef that they were still trying to get past. That like their friendship and relationship is very platonic, very healthy in that way.
Well, that's
unfortunately just to use their car, but he was there too long.
It's fun to just see him like leaning into that pretty boy. I'm teen beat, all grown up. Like that's fun.
He's running a successful record store shop. Yeah. Sure. Good for him. Like he has a healthy life. Good for him.
Well, and there was such weird chemistry between between Jamie Lee Curtis and him in that original 2003 film. Remember when we were talking about it and we were like, Those scenes were so weird. But
it's like, I'm not sure if those scenes age well.
Because she's getting
20 plus
married.
years.
She's
Right.
getting married in that movie. In and here Lindsay's character Anna is getting married. In that one,
Right.
she was getting married, and she was all flirty and being all ridiculous with him.
And in fairness, he was a teenager in that, so like you're gonna have some legal issues in that as well.
Well, yeah,
so.
but like it wasn't really her. It was
Right.
Anna in her body, but still, like it just made for some really awkward, funny scenes. And so it was fun to kind of bring that back a little bit with this, because you had Lily in Tessa's body this time, so it was sort of the same dynamic. And you look cute,
teenager still, like he still got it 20
yeah,
plus
he
years
does.
later. So like good for Jay.
Yeah.
But I did love the callback when she's crawling on the floor.
Yeah, that was really funny.
That's a good moment.
I think everything in the record store was the highlight of the movie. I thought that was really funny and just my favorite part.
Yeah,
movie.
that was it was good to see characters come back and like play those beats out again.
Yeah.
But it's still funny all these years later.
What did you think of Vanessa Bayer playing the fortune teller? Did you think she was funny?
I thought she was okay.
I thought she was
honestly
really funny. I was laughing throughout, and she's like constantly like looking at their hands, like amazed at her own. Whoa, did I say that? Did I do that? I thought she did quite a bit with a small role, like made it very funny. And
yeah, it was like the whole the demonic voice I don't think was necessary. I get for the effect, but if you're gonna have the two original Asian women who did the original switching at the beginning,
that
just
was
to like be there,
cameo.
like I'd want them to be there to help be a part of the switch again.
Yeah,
like,
that's
no,
true. I can see that
in our place, but they were just there. I was like, so not that Vanessa was bad, it's just like I don't think she was needed, because you already had the other women. Like, use them.
See that? Did it make you
bring
smile?
Them back, use them.
Did it make you smile to see Elaine Hendricks?
Oh my god, yes. And like I knew she was going to be in it because of course I followed all of them.
I didn't.
Like I read that like the whole there was going to be a mini reunion on screen, and then so when she popped up I was like, yes, there's my girl, love her.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies.
So we have Manny Jacinto playing Eric, the fiance. What did you think of him? Do you think he was sweet?
I love him. He's Filipino. Okay, first I gotta say, from Filipino to Filipino, I do respect him. I love that they brought the Filipino culture and aspects to this film. I may be a little biased, but it was nice to see, like we're adding diversity to this. It's like you go back to the original movie, you have like two people of color and that's it. And then here you actually have like the daughter, you have the father, you're blending families now. And so I love that. And to see, and it makes sense because like Filipinos are really big on family. So like that wasn't even a surprise to me that he would really look out for like the best for his daughter. And it's nice to see him in a big role like this, because like I always see him as the side character. So to have a healthy man, a healthy relationship, I was like, yes, good. And He's Filipino. So it's like he's giving a platform to the Filipinos on a very big stage. Like I grew up with Disney my entire life. I can't think of honestly like one movie with a Filipino.
The only one I can think of is the Brandy Cinderella, the
Oh my
prince.
God. Yeah,
Yeah.
you see, and that
Just
was 20
which
plus years ago.
yeah,
But
that's one
like,
of my
and like
favorites.
even that relationship, like it was totally random. That didn't fit, but this one did, you know? But that's what I'm saying. Like, if we're
Hmm.
going back 20 plus years and that's the only other role we can think of,
Yeah.
like, come on. At least
Yeah.
Disney's adding some diversity in there, adding some colors. I'm starting to see my peeps. It's
Yeah.
nice. It's
I
nice.
could
It's
see that.
very
Yeah,
refreshing.
and he was very like charming and swoony and handsome and the whole immigration scene, that was a real win. I think that was very that's
Yeah.
where he really wins everybody in the theater over. Like I think there was an audible sigh when he got all of the answers right and he was just so sweet and so I think if they hadn't been won over to him, that's when you win him over.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I love that scene too because that shows like he's a genuine guy. He's not
Yeah.
there like it's not like a 90-day fiance kind of situation, you know?
Mhm.
It's like he truly does love that family and he's going to work hard to make sure the family stays together where he can do everything to stay there in the country, you know? It's like he's not doing it for nefarious
Mhm.
reasons. He's doing it because he's actually a good human being who wants a better life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was
I
so
also
rooting for him.
I also thought the whole scene with the food fight at the bake sale, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was in the
That was
beginning,
fun.
but
Was it
I enjoyed that. I liked
necessary?
it. That's
No.
it's humor.
Yeah,
You kind of
it's
want those
humor, but I was like,
silly.
did it really need to escalate to a full-on fight? But it like I did feel a little bit of the, Princess Diary moment with the like the cupcake ice cream, like Princess Diaries, you had the ice cream down the front, and then this movie was like the cupcake down the front in the shirt. It was like very much the same beat of, oh, now you have something in your shirt. So like, but did it need to escalate to a food fight?
It was
No,
funny. I
but
enjoyed it.
it let us know how much these two hate each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, okay,
I
this is
mean and
toxic.
you had to get the point where they're expelled from school. So that
Yeah.
was, a thing too. And then we also have we have an interesting thing with this client Ella and she's been going through this breakup and she's devastated and she has to deal with all of that on social media. So it's interesting to see how Harper then deals with this and helps Ella and how she's terrible at it as well. And I think that's one interesting thing about Freaky Friday is that the things that we think we will be good at, because I think there's things that the moms know they'll be bad at and then they are bad at it as a
Mhm.
teen. But then there's all these things that they think they'll be good at as a teen and then they suck at. And then the same thing with the teens. They think, oh, I'll be able to do all this stuff my mom does, and then some things they are good at and some things they're terrible at that they think they'll be good at. And so anyway, I think that was interesting to see how in some of her ideas are actually like interesting and helpful, and then other things she has no idea like how what her mom kind of puts up with these clients and dealing with things.
Right. And especially, and I think it's interesting to show that Anna is working with teenage clients, even though
Mm-hmm.
she has a teenage daughter, she's working with a teenage, girl. So it like you like to think that Anna at this point in her life is like understands people this at this young age better than she did when she was a teenager. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it was, I mean, I had nothing against Ella. I felt like we did show a lot of time, like she did get a lot of screen time, but
Yeah.
also as you think about it, teenage girls, that's who they love. I mean, look at like all these teenage girls now. They're obsessed with Taylor Swift. They're obsessed with like musicians that have music that speaks to them in their hearts and stuff. So it makes sense that these two teenage girls would be so invested in Ella's life and career and romance and all that. So like it did
Also,
play a bigger part than I thought it was going to.
did you get a handle on how famous Pink Slip and Anna is supposedly have been in the world of this movie, because she's just a manager, but evidently there's this whole like lore of her like amazing albums and her like how
Yeah,
famous is she
like they
supposedly
had
have
a
been?
really big career after the fact
And
because like
if
the first
she's
movie, like their first big gig is at the House of Blues, but like we don't see like much of a touring life or anything like that.
yeah, and if
They
she's
were
still
freaking performing in a garage.
if
So
if she is still working in the business, managing clients, producing albums, things like that, like she's doing for Ella, I don't understand why she would feel the need to completely put away all of her music for Harper. Like I'd understand why she wouldn't feel where she felt like she couldn't tour with
mhm.
being a single mom and a young child, but why she wouldn't be able to record music, especially these days when anybody can post songs to TikTok or whatever it might be. It's so Publishing music is so much easier now than it used to be, that why she would have felt like she had to, if literally she's so famous that this record store person is wanting signed records from her that people are going to bid on
Mhm.
for a charity, like that's pretty famous.
Yeah, and I feel like we didn't see any of that.
No, I'm like,
It's totally after the fact.
why did she feel the need to like give all of that up? And if she did feel the need, then why did she stay in Los Angeles of all places? I guess
As
that's where her
someone who
mom
literally
is.
lives 2 blocks away from Capitol Records, I
but
get
but
why
if
she stayed in
no,
LA.
but if
Yeah,
you were discarding
yeah,
all of
right,
that,
right, right,
then you
right.
would think you'd want to leave. But I guess if that's where her mother is, then that makes sense.
Yeah, I was like, I think there's the family aspect, and I think it's nice that they kept it in LA. And there's even interviews of Jamie Lee Curtis saying that like they purposely made this a love letter to LA. So
Uh-huh.
like LA in and of
Yeah,
itself
it
is
did
a
have a lot
character
of
in the movie.
landmarks. Yeah.
Lots of landmarks.
Yeah, it did.
That like now
The
as someone
Grove.
who lives in Hollywood, who wasn't in LA when the first movie came out, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I appreciate it more. I was like, I seriously, I can walk to
Well, and
Capitol Records in 5 minutes.
it's
So
especially
it's
confusing when you have her mother being such an obvious assist. It's not like she was alone in raising Harper. Here, like her mom is literally doing the drop off. She's like very involved, right? And so why would she feel a need to completely abandon her music for Harper? Uh, and yet that didn't really make any sense, but it doesn't matter.
mm,
But you're supposed to get to this point where this big reunion, because Ella is a huge fan, and so she kind of stages this big reunion, and it ends up with her and Harper on the stage, and Harper doesn't really know how to play, so she has to play as Harper, and they make it all work, and then that's what makes the magic go back. And
yeah.
um the thing I think would have made that even better is if all four had been on the stage and all four had been singing. That would have been perfect.
Ugh. That would, I mean, I could see that, but I don't foresee Lily knowing any of the Pink Slip music.
Mm.
So like I could understand why she wasn't on stage. So
Yeah, I
because
guess,
that like the music career is really between Harper and
but
Anna. So
but Tess would know, and she's in Lily. So,
hmm.
so you'd, you'd have, I guess it would be more like Tess up there, not knowing the words,
It could
because
really
that would
just
be
be
Lily.
too many cooks in the kitchen, considering we have like the whole Pink Slip band on stage,
That's
plus
true.
the new girl and her whole backup dancing
But
entourage. It's like it could be too many people on
don't you
stage.
think that would have been a nice moment? I would have loved if they sort of Power Rangered it and had to be like, go,
Oh
go,
my god,
like,
that would have been amazing.
1, 2, 3,
uh
kind of a thing. But and I forget, I should have written it down. Sorry, I didn't take notes, but they say that what was the line? Do you remember what they kept saying? That when you
uh
understand the one you were
the
with,
mantra.
the mantra that they have, and that's when they finally understand each other, and that was very sweet, and they have the wedding at the end, and they do show her brother. That was a nice cameo.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
sweet
cool
to
to
see
see him
him.
back. I was like, oh wow, he definitely got older.
Yeah.
I was like, it really shows millennials age are still aging better.
Yeah. And I thought the pickleball scene, that was funny. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, there was a
That
lot of
made me
like
laugh.
newer updated references. Like you had the podcasting at the beginning, you had pickleball now, and like the whole tournament. I even loved how they had like the generational jokes where like, we're not millennials, we're Gen Xers. I was like, I love her. She's hilarious.
As soon as they showed Jamie Lee Curtis, I'm like, oh, she's gonna be podcasting. I know it. She's gonna be oh yeah, she's
yeah. I was like, yeah, that's totally the best medium to go to.
It's funny to me that 90% of the time podcasting to Hollywood means like pretentious and obnoxious.
It's so bad because unfortunately, like I started my career out here for podcasting, but that was still before podcasting was really a thing. You know, it was like it took like 5 years before podcasting really took off. Now, unfortunately, it has the negative connotations. Like if everyone has a podcast, it's not original anymore.
Yeah. So we apologize in advance for any condescension that we might be through the podcast, but
from the podcasters to the listeners, we know what I think it's more like our self-awareness.
Well, yeah, and probably also because you look at yourself, or you have to kind of present yourself as somewhat of an authority on whatever you're talking about, because why do people want to listen to, and I mean, I've always looked at it as more that I'm just chatting with my friends, because that's what I'm doing, like we wouldn't, if you and I were just chatting on the phone, it really wouldn't be that different a conversation.
No,
no, like, really. Hey, Marissa, you see the movie? Oh yeah, I saw it too, blah 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 blah, and we'd have this pretty much the same conversation.
Basically, I was like, if people just read our conversation via text, it's like it's really not that much different. But I think for her career, her being an actual licensed therapist, there are podcasts out there for health and mental stuff like that. So like, I totally get that, and especially I think with the influence of the younger generation and her trying to like still cater to the younger people, like it makes sense that she would try to evolve with the podcast.
It does so it was funny for the most part. All the humor, it worked for me. I was laughing throughout, and that was I always say funny saves all in a comedy. I can have the stupidest plot, but if I'm laughing, I don't care. That's what I'm there for.
I think the dialogue was great. I think I love their self-awareness. We definitely have like the generational gaps now, and they definitely pointed that out. Like old people music, listen to Coldplay, like all those, just like those little lines, that really delineates like the different ages now. Like that still made me laugh. I laughed a lot in this movie.
When
this movie comes out, I'm definitely buying it like immediately. That's like there's a big rewatchability factor for this.
I'd watch it again on Disney Plus. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I still don't know why they don't have 1995 film on Disney Plus. They need to get on that, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, they do,
because they have all the rest.
And let's complain.
Let's get them on board.
Let's get them. They need to get up to speed with that. Gosh darn
it. So in the end, the wedding ends up happening. Lily decides to stay in LA. And everything ends up happy, so it's great.
That was like one of my things that I had, not to like bring it back, but when you had the father, Eric, who's trying so hard to like uproot his, like, let's uproot back to London. I was like, for someone who literally has a restaurant named after his daughter, that's a hard, that you would think that'd be a very difficult thing to give up if you're just gonna leave, like, up and leave again. You're just like, he has roots now in LA, so like,
but if she's not happy, and she clearly is not happy, and he loves her enough to name his restaurant, like, I think maybe that's what they were trying to say, is that like once he becomes aware that she really is not happy, that's why it was a pretty big sacrifice at the end for her to say that she was, because she's the one that has to give up everything in the end. And so it was an interesting little arc for her character. And I think if they could have sold it a little bit better, but it was an interesting journey that Lily goes on.
It was like, I
Yeah.
like the fact that she became a way more likable person at the like she is the character that had the biggest room to grow,
Yeah.
and to have like an actual good arc at the end where I believed it. I was like, all right, yes, it's unfortunate in the situation that she's in, but if it makes her become more aware, more empathetic of everyone, good.
Mhm.
That's character growth, and I'm all for it.
So this doesn't look like it's doing as well as I thought it was going to do. It's so hard to know with nostalgia properties. I mean, it made 40,
Yeah.
it's made $44 million, had a $42 million budget. So it needs to, I don't know, that was under what
Make
I
some
was
more.
expecting. But if let's just say another world, this was like a huge breakaway hit, it ended up coming in second under weapons, which that way overperformed what anyone expected, which is interesting. But anyway, if you were going to make another Freaky Friday movie, what would you do next?
I don't know, because we've already done the switch. Maybe actually have the girls switch in each other's bodies, like the
Yeah,
teenagers in each other's bodies.
I think you
But
could do that. The other thing that they've never done it in any of the Freaky Friday movies, but if you had a gender swap, it's always
yeah,
been
I was like, the guys.
it's always been a mother-daughter thing. But if you had, say Lindsay, or I guess Harper, say Harper has a son who's then a teenager down the road, and then switching
Ooh.
with a son, is that too weird? Like, would that be too weird to have
I wouldn't say
somebody
weird,
to have a teenage
but
boy in a
in a
in a
female's body.
mom's body, and to have
Yeah.
a mom in a teenage boy's body?
But I think that's why Freaky Friday works, because there's
The
a
mother-daughter.
female nurturing, mothering aspect to it. And quite honestly,
I was
maybe
just
this is
thinking that
just
could be
me.
like a
I
different
wouldn't want to
wrinkle.
switch. I wouldn't want to watch a boy switch into that, because like the message is about like understanding each other more on an emotional scale. And not to say that men could do that, but like that, I don't think it would be as fun to switch into a teenager boy's
It
body,
just could be
you
like a
know?
new
So,
take on the story. Because I mean,
oh
I
yeah,
love the
I mean, I
movie.
get that,
I
but
love the
I'm not
movie
sure
Your
I
Name.
would enjoy that.
I love the movie Your Name, which is about
Yeah,
a teenage boy and a teenage girl
and a girl
that
swapping,
switch
yeah,
bodies, not a older person and a younger person.
but they
And
weren't toxic.
no, they were toxic, and it goes to a dramatic place actually by the end. It's so good. But
Right.
I was
It's a
thinking
great movie.
it's so good, right? You
It's
seen
a
it?
great movie. Yeah, I
So
own
good.
it. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
Y'all haven't watched it? What are you doing with your life?
Yes. That's right. It's
Just,
one of my favorites. I love it.
it's so good.
Every time I see it, I get something new out of it. And I think it's such a great movie because it gives you everything. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, it's exciting, it's got action, it's got
It's gorgeous to look
spirituality,
at.
it's
Oh my goodness.
contemplative, it's
Yes.
beautiful. The music, like, it just has everything.
It's a great,
You'd want.
solid film.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Everyone needs to go watch it after you're done listening to us.
Yes. So Freakier Friday, it's not as good as Your Name, but it is a solid legacy sequel. Like, there have been
Mhm.
way worse. Like, even just this month with Happy Gilmore 2 was a lot worse than this. So I feel like I was pretty lucky with this one, and that this was entertaining, and they did a good job, and so that's nice. And I asked on Twitter, I said, what did you think of Freakier Friday? And Kevin the Critic, he says, rough first act and some cringy lines, but overall, a worthy sequel. Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan still rock. A large majority of the gags had me laughing, and the story was sweet. Manny Jacinto's charming, and I'd like to see him as a rom-com leading man. It left me smiling. So Sean Chandler, friend, he says, charming enough, but the teenage girl's plot was awfully mean-spirited and selfish. I guess in fairness, though, I would say is that she acknowledges that she was selfish. She says, I was
she
very
acknowledges she was
selfish.
mean.
And so
She's a
she
mean
has,
girl.
like, I guess it only bothers me if something feels mean-spirited to me, if it's not part of a character growth, part of an arc, right? Like she learns. So I don't know if I really felt that as a real stumbling block, but they could have done more to humanize her at the beginning, and I think that would have helped.
Yeah, or at least like show a moment where she has a softer side.
Yeah.
Like she's capable of actually being nice.
Yeah. So we have Gavin Evans. He says, awful. I have lots of issues, but I really hate the way they handled Jake. So you didn't like that. And then Mike K says, I liked it quite a bit. It's about on par with the 03 film. So lots of different opinions out there with Freakier Friday. I think, and granted, I did not rewatch all of these, but I did listen to our episode and I kind of remembered. And if I was going to rank this with the other four, I would have the 76 at the bottom. Then I would have this, and then I would have the musical, and then I would have 03 and 1995. But I would say that they're all pretty close. Like it's a pretty strong franchise. I don't hate any of those movies.
Right. I would definitely put this above the musical and the 76 version as well.
I can see that. Yeah.
I still really love the 2003 version. That's like it has a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
But I do love how this movie had so many tie backs to it, and it really was a fan service and a love letter to the millennials.
It's done well.
We
not
got
cheap.
to hear the original two songs again because they didn't need to play them, but we got it. We got to see them perform it again, and I was all singing the songs like I did as a teenager.
Yeah.
So like it really hit a lot of things for me personally, which I enjoyed.
Well, let us know what you think of Freakier Friday. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What you think of this franchise? What would you do if you were tasked to make a new Freaky Friday movie? We want to hear all of that in the comment section, and we'll put a link down to our previous episode where we ranked the other four. You definitely want to listen to that. And Marisa, thanks so much for doing this. It's always a blast. And if people want to follow you on socials, how do they do it?
Everyone can follow me at Serafini TV.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And I have been filling in at KSL Movie Show on Friday mornings. So if you get a chance to listen to that, I would really appreciate it. It's very exciting. I've been a big fan of KSL Movie Show locally here since I was in college. So it's really fun. So check that out. And also you can follow the podcast, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really appreciate it. And if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support everything we're doing. And we have a ton of fun. We have great watch alongs and other events. So check that out. And we have our merch store, which is a lot of fun. So take a look at that. And thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later.